when it comes to, socialism, socialism would say essentially, hey, we really aren't going to just let you pay us pennies to go do the majority of the work while you essentially just say, well, I own this factory, so you therefore make money for me and aren't putting forth as much effort or whatever. It's a
But
case that,
yet they make them. But yet they're the ones that make the most profit off of it.
right. So
Hmm.
the point is that the people who actually work and produce something rather than just organizing a system and then just sitting upon that mound. And that person maybe didn't even organize the system. They might have just had it given to them by their great grandpappy, and
Like a lot of these self-made billionaires that we know about.
right. So, and I think this is necessary. I know we're getting a little bit away from Charlie Kirk, but this is important because the thing that keeps getting thrown around is that there's these radical Marxist XYZ or whatever anti-capitalists, which is that HN something 7 that Trump signed that was not an executive order. It was something even more sinister than that. But the point is there's a lot of rhetoric that's going around that is essentially, in a nutshell, if you are anti-capitalist, if you are anti-religious, if you are anti-American, which of course they're going to say American's capitalist, right? Um, then you are essentially on a watch list and are considered to potentially be a terrorist. And this is all by design, right? So, when you lay it out, who are the people who are saying this? Stephen Miller, Trump, JD Vance, all of these people are paid buku bucks. They're essentially allowed to just have free reign of our governmental systems because they get, the people who own the means of production right now in this corrupt system, a system that's failing, in fact. The empire is falling and has been falling for many years. It's a very large system, interconnected networks and things like that all over the world, and lots of history there. Toppling governments, putting up, fake politicians that will just bow down to the dollar or whatever. These people know what's coming, and I'm not saying that I'm advocating for violence or anything like that, but history shows that when a capitalist system fails, or any society fails really, people lose their freaking minds. And,
Yep.
and
It breeds violence.
regardless of whether that's right or not, and I would agree it's wrong. I would like to be in a society where violence isn't sowed because, the society has gone to crap. But the point I'm trying to make is that's where it's going. And unfortunately, instead of having people, leaders that say, look, this major issue that we have here, capitalism, which leads to imperialism, which it leads to things like we see in Gaza right now, things that we see in Yemen, all kinds of stuff. Nasty, the worst things that humans can do, period, are happening because of the profit motives, because of power dynamics and things like that that are brought on by capitalism. And in reaction to that, the capitalists are saying, we're scared. We know that we're falling and we're about to lose power. And they're afraid because they know what happens when you are the weak guy on the end of the power stick. So this is the dynamic that we're talking about here. I'm not saying I agree, disagree, or are indifferent about any of these concepts. I'm just saying most people aren't going to explain it as plainly as that because they're afraid to, or they just don't know. Like, you're not going to go to a lot of media organizations where they're going to talk about means of production and that being like the key political thing that we're talking about these days and how that drives all of this. But getting back to the Charlie Kirk thing and making him a martyr, at his rally, Stephen Miller made a speech. And this speech was quite concerning. because essentially, and I ran this through multiple different filters and things like that, and ran it through multiple AI, and essentially the us and them type of rhetoric is at the core of it. And I'm going to read it here. We're not even going to watch a video. We're going to read it because it's really that important. Um, let me get to it here. So he says, "Hello to millions of Americans all across this land." This was at Charlie Kirk's memorial, right? So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
keep that in mind, the context, and thinking to yourself, if I was at a person's memorial and people started speaking like this, if you would feel like, first off, is it out of place? And second off, does it make you feel comfortable? Hello to millions of Americans all across the land who are gathered in sadness and sorrow to mourn Charlie Kirk, but also to dedicate ourselves to finishing his mission and achieving victory in his name. The day that Charlie died, the angels wept, but those tears have been turned into a fire into our hearts, or fire in our hearts, and that fire burns with a righteous fury that our enemies cannot comprehend or understand. It's already taken a turn, and we're like 4 sentences in, boys. Like, when I see Erica, which is Charlie's wife, and her strength
Hmm.
and courage, I'm reminded of a famous expression: the storm whispers to the warrior, "You cannot withstand my strength," and the warrior whispers back, "I am the storm." Erica is the
Oh
storm.
boy.
We are the storm, and our enemies cannot comprehend our strength, our determination, our resolve, our passion. Our lineage and legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities, they produced the architecture, they built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up cities, raised up industry, and raised up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness. You are jealousy. You are envy. And you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity. You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk? You have made him immortal. You have immortalized Charlie Kirk, and now millions will carry on his legacy, and we will devote the rest of our lives to finishing the causes for which Charlie gave his last measure of devotion. You cannot defeat us. You cannot slow us. You cannot stop us. You cannot deter us. We will carry Charlie and Erica in our hearts every single day and fight that much harder because of what you did to us. You have no idea the dragon you have awakened. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization, to save the West, to save the West, to save this republic, because our children are strong and our grandchildren will be strong and our children's children will be strong. What will you leave behind? Nothing. Nothing. To our enemies, you have nothing to give, to offer, or share but bitterness. We have beauty, light, goodness. We have determination, vision, and strength. We built the world that we inhabit now, generation by generation, and we will defend this world. We will defend goodness. We will defend light. We will defend virtue. You cannot frighten us. You cannot threaten us, because we are on the side of goodness and God. To my brother Charlie, I know you're watching us right now. I promise you, we will prove worthy of your sacrifice. We will make you proud. We will finish the job. We will defeat the forces of darkness and evil, and we will stand every day for what is true, what is good, and we will achieve victory for our children, our families, our civilization, and for every patriot who stands with us. At a memorial. So I'm just going to say that right there is inciting violence.